let's look at this woke shit. Ben Shapiro, top 8 most woke companies of all time.
Well, folks, it is the holy month of Pride, June. Oh my God! It's the most important month on the American calendar in which we celebrate
sodomy, basically.
All forms of sexual orientation, gender identity, and attacks on Judeo-Christian values. And we have many, many corporations who have decided to become the corporate faces of the giant rainbow boots.
I feel like if you wanted to, because I feel like Ben Shapiro, just the way the other conservatives have gone, he's almost like one of the less crazy ones these days. But I feel like if he wants to hold up that image, he could probably just cherry pick a few incidents of corporations being incredibly cringe over Pride and just go with that. But he has to be like, oh, we're celebrating sodomy. I'm like, bro, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Stamping on the American face forever. Today, we are going to go through some of the wokest corporations in America, and we are going to decide just how many flaming garbage bags of left-wing propaganda they deserve to receive from you, the consumer. We begin with Ford. So Ford has decided for Pride Month, they're going to release a rainbow Ford F-150. Again, rainbow wheel rolling over a human face forever. And Ford's F-150 brand is supposed to be the manly men who are like picking up lumber in the back of their truck. And now they're like, and you know what's the most manly thing? Dudes who are Brokeback Mounting it. That's the most manly thing. Is the rain?
I mean, it literally is. It's like double the man. Ben. It's double the testosterone. What the f are you talking about? Do you know how effeminate it is to f a woman? Do you understand how, like, gay it is to have sex with a woman? Does he know?
Rainbow truck.
Yeah, I want a gay truck. I want a truck that's going to sleep with another truck.
Again, this looks like a wild brand misalignment, a la Bud Light, like a real brand misalignment. Is it of the equivalent of Bud Light? No, because again, it's more sort of gay than trans. And again, Pride Month has been sort of a well-developed part of our civic religion for the last 10 years or so. This one goes in the category of like 5 to 6 flaming garbage bins for Ford. Okay, next, we take a look at Adidas. So Adidas, which was started by literally a person associated with the Nazi Party. Adolf Dassler was the founder, and he was literally a member of the Nazi Party. Well,
are we gonna wait? This is a very is he doing the left wing thing now? How like if your company was started by a Nazi, you're a Nazi company fucking 80 years later? Is that what? Is that where we're going now? Oh, I didn't know why it was called Adidas. Adolf Das. Wow. That's funny. Yeah, German Volkswagen, Hugo Boss. Is the Daily Mail still a Nazi newspaper?
Well, now, Adidas has become, of course, a mainstream athletic brand. They decided this year that they were going to feature a man gallivanting about as a woman in a one-piece bathing suit. And the video is very, very difficult to watch, just aesthetically speaking. Here we go.
Wow.
Yeah, really that is a lot of chest hair for a man dressed as a woman in a women's bathing suit with his junk hanging out. Love unites. I don't know.
Literally not. Okay.
Which is more distracting here? The fact that this is a women's bathing suit with a giant male bulge in it, or the chest hair in the cleavage. The close-up on the chest hair is really quite wonderful. Yeah, that's real bad. But again, Adidas, not quite Bud Light a brand, so I'm going to go with like 7 flaming garbage bins right here for Adidas. Okay, on to North.
The Daily Stormer is a ripoff from the Nazi newspaper Der Stürmer. Really? Is it? Is Eric Stryker a pun on a play on the name of Der Stürmer's publisher, Julius Stryker? Is that? I didn't know that. That's huge. Murph, how long have you been sitting on this information?
North Face. North Face is all about tough outdoor wear, right? You're gonna go climb a mountain.
It's funny because Stürmer doesn't mean storm. It kind of does. It means like stormer, attacker. Yeah. Okay, whatever. Never mind.
Wearing North Face. Or alternatively, you're going to be a dude who dresses up in ladies' clothing and gallivants through the forest while holding a TV.
That's pretty gay.
And you're going to have a mustache. And you're going to be, just like totally a dude wearing ladies' clothing. And this is the height of modern American culture. This is morality, folks. The crusade of Pride Month must continue under all circumstances.
You know what? Because I know. Okay, again, I have a disproportionate amount of LGBT people in my social circle. All right, I don't know why they like me. But it's like I feel like a lot of them wouldn't be as provocative as they are were it not for the response that it incites from people. I've been told I don't know how often this happens. I've been told this happens by a few people that that one of the reasons they like to dress and have their aesthetic as provocative as possible is because it angers fucking homophobes and conservatives and shit like that, right? I wonder how much they would do this if people like Ben Shapiro just didn't care. Because I guess it's just double the advertising, isn't it? That if you're North Face or Adidas or whatever the fuck, you can get or Ford, you can absolutely rely on people like Ben Shapiro to do your marketing for you as well as all the pro-LGBT people, so yeah.
Here is what North Face is pushing this month. So again, North Face is supposed to be sort of the tougher brand. It's not supposed to be particularly the trans brand. I'm going to go with I think it's Adidas level. I think it's 7 flaming garbage bins. Okay, on to Starbucks. So Starbucks is, of course, famously a woke corporation. Yeah. Starbucks has, for a very, very long time, pushed woke ideas, but pushing it in foreign countries is a new one for Starbucks. So Starbucks put out an entire ad about transing people. It's about an Indian father and mother who decide that their son, Arpit, actually needs to be known as Arpita, and the way that they determine that this is a good thing is by naming their son Arpita after he walks in dressed as a woman to the Starbucks. Dad is going to show that he's gotten over all of his old-style bigotry by ordering a coffee for Arpita. Okay, so because this is not just Starbucks domestically, if this were Starbucks domestically, you'd be like, okay, not really a brand misalignment. Starbucks in India, I have a question. How much support is there for the transing in India? I'm going to go not much. By polling data, I would guess not very much. If you're a person living in India, I'm not sure why you'd go to Starbucks after that. That's a 9 flaming garbage bins. We'll get to more of these woke brands in just 1 second. First,
interesting. I don't want it's a poll, so I guess I can use BuzzFeed. Where'd the poll come from? Ipsos. Polling firm Ipsos partnered with UCLA. I think they have anti-discrimination laws from 2014, yeah. %85 believe they should be protected from discrimination. That's a good start. The fact that it's quite close to Spain. The problem with this polling is that you can be against every trans right, but also think they deserve to be protected from discrimination. You can be against bathrooms and believe this. You can be against sports and believe this. You can be against fucking crisis shelters and believe, but it's very different from, I guess, Russia, Turkey, Japan. Yeah, so it's something. It was more strongly agree than somewhat agree. Okay. Should be allowed to be parents. This is where it maybe gets a bit lower than the other ones. Not far off the United States. Should be allowed to adopt. 73%. They think there should be public bathrooms reserved for transgender persons. Interesting. Reserving seats for the in the legislature. People are more pro-trans in the legislature than they are for women. What the fuck? Interesting. Where do they get this from? Ipsos are usually okay. I don't think I've ever seen a problem with Ipsos polling. Should be allowed to have surgery. Again, allowed to have surgery is whether or not they get it publicly or not. Or whether or not they get it on insurance or not. Should receive financial assistance. Bro. India. I would not like to have neighbors who are transgender, gay. This is where it's a bit closer to Russia and Turkey. Spain is quite progressive for trans people, yeah. Should be able to change without restrictions. Oh, well. So it's not quite as bad as Ben Shapiro was making it out to be. And I'd imagine if this is like Starbucks, you're talking urban population, which probably means more pro-trans than the rural. So, sorry, dude.
First, let me talk to you about an unwoke brand, ExpressVPN. They're Daily Wire's most trusted privacy partner and the premier sponsor of this show. You've heard me talk about how important it is to have a VPN to protect your online privacy, but choosing a VPN you trust is just as important. I only recommend brands to my listeners that I actually believe in. I can say with full confidence, ExpressVPN is the best VPN on the market. Why? Well, number one, they don't log your activity online. There are lots of cheaper
Oh my God.
to stop them. It now uses Lightway, a new VPN protocol they engineered to make user speeds faster than ever as well. HD quality, no buffering. A button to connect, that's it. Your grandparents could vpn.com/BenYT get 3 extra months for. Now, Target is doing like Disney level things. So Target has decided to push forward entire pride categories, including apparently bathing suits that allow boys to tuck their testicles behind them.
Wow, it's so tuck friendly.
So they look less male when they are in the pool. The fact that this is prominently displayed, they have like onesies for babies that promote bisexuality, is vile. And this is truly vile stuff. It's like Disney level of targeting the kids, vile stuff. Because again, this is all not only in public view, but it's deliberately targeted to young people. The tuck bathing suit.
Was this actually real? I feel like I saw people debating this and they said the tuck thing wasn't actually like in the kids section. Let's see, Target, tuck bathing suits. I mean, there are trans people who are under 18, but tuck-friendly swimsuits. I don't think. No, this was for adults. This isn't the kids section.
Look at this view. Truly violent. They have like one less male when they are in the pool. The fact that this is prominently displayed.
Like how? Why are you getting? Wait, let's see.
So they look less male when they are in the pool. The fact that this is.
Are these kids' dresses or shirts?
Prominently displayed. They have like onesies for babies that promote bisexuality, is vile. And this is truly vile stuff. It's like Disney.
You know, some people are small, right? Like some humans are small. This is the AP article about it. Tuck-friendly swimsuits are only offered in adult sizes, according to a spokesperson for the company's website. Kids' swimsuits in the collection do not feature this label. Well, I think I'm maybe going to believe this more than Sarah Bruin Zero on TikTok.
Any level of targeting the kids, vile stuff. Because again,
where are we getting?
This is all not vile. And this is truly vile stuff. It's like Disney level of targeting the kids.
They don't really say on the label, do they?
Vile stuff. Because again, this is all.
Can't read that fucking label.
Not only in public view, but it's deliberately targeted to young people. The tuck bathing suits, look at the sizes on those. Those are not.
Ben didn't do his research. Uh-oh. Oh, Ben. Whoops. God, I wonder how much, like, this is just, I haven't seen a Ben Shapiro video in so long. I wonder how much disinformation he puts in every video. Like, so far we've got, I mean, not, like, the thing about India being, like, notoriously transphobic, even though it seems to be one of the better ones in the region. We've got the Target thing with apparently doing tuck swimsuits for kids, even though they weren't for kids. And the only evidence he's got is a TikTok of someone saying it's in the kids section without actually showing. If you thought you'd found that stuff in the fucking kids section, you would show the sign where it says kids, made some pictures of kids, and then show the thing. This person's a liar. Ben Shapiro is getting fooled by a liar. And also what his VPN advert is non-woke. Oh no.
Not all for adults. Meanwhile, they have all the trans properties. They've got the onesies for the babies and all the rest of this. This is 9 to 10 flaming garbage bins for Target. Okay, now, Bud Light has taken it directly on the chin ever since they decided that they were going to make Dylan Mulvaney the face of their brand. It was April 1st, and I remember seeing this online. I thought, this has to be April Fool's. I mean, it has to be April Fool's.
It has to be.
It was not April Fool's. So they decided to make a man pretending to be a woman, a man cosplaying as a woman, the face of their brand. They sent him a bunch of cans with his face.
India has third gender in their culture for a really long time. Doesn't surprise me they'd be accepting. I don't know how progressive that their version of third gender is, though. I've heard mixed opinions. I maybe have to look it up, but I have a feeling that that third gender is actually. I can't remember which culture it is. It's not Indians, but there is another culture that has third genders, but the third gender is just for like men who can't do masculine roles, which is not very progressive. Like it was just like a kind of like a weaker man kind of thing. But I don't know about the Indian one, but I maybe have doubts
On it. And then he talked about how he didn't like March Madness, but he was advertising a beer that's made for low-income men. The misalignment is where the giant numbers come in terms of the sort of flaming garbage bins. We'll see some of the brands here that are promoting left-wing wokeism. They've always been left-wing woke brands, so them being left-wing woke, they don't earn as many flaming garbage bins. But Bud Light, that was like the all-American brand. How all-American was Bud Light? Back in 1995, they actually released a commercial making fun of the idea of men dressing as women competing with women in sport. Now, of course, they're pushing Dylan Mulvaney. So, on a scale of 1 to 10 flaming garbage bins, that is 10 for Bud Light. Okay.
Bro, I'm sorry. If you're drinking Bud Light, you're probably a little bit LGBT. You're already on the way, okay? Bud Light. Bud Light.
Disney has decided this preemptively is a 10 flaming garbage bin company. Disney is catered to children. It is a children's company. It is about the magic of childhood and childhood innocence. And they've decided that they are going to push trans and LGBTQ plus minus divided by sign garbage in pretty much everything they do. Like every aspect of what Disney does is now going to be this. Right? They've put it in shows ranging from The Proud Family to movies for small children like Lightyear.
By the way, on a completely unrelated note, completely unrelated. I actually mean it's unrelated. Don't worry. Like, you. I'm not joking. I'm just saying that I'm reading the Third Reich in Power right now, and I'm at the bit where he's talking about how Mickey Mouse was insanely popular for whatever reason in Germany, early to mid 30s, and there are like quotes from Nazis, like Nazi ministers complaining about like the degeneracy of Disney. But they did allow, there was one thing that was really popular, which was Three Little Pigs, because in the original of Three Little Pigs, before Disney changed it later on, the big bad wolf comes in with a huge hook nose and a top hat. And I think he might have the curls as well. So that was quite popular in Germany, but I think Germany was so keen to promote, to like politicize and promote its own culture throughout their film industry that they put like these massive tariffs on films that came into Germany, like films and art that came into Germany. So a lot of companies, including Disney, actually, even though Mickey Mouse was so popular, was that Disney didn't even really make any profit in Germany, so they just stopped. They just stopped sending stuff in. But for a time, Mickey Mouse and the Three Little Pigs especially was very popular in Nazi Germany. Yeah.
They've decided it's imperative that kids learn about this stuff at the earliest possible level. They've decided that they have to have pride collections at Disneyland and that you can't be called princesses or princes at Disneyland anymore because obviously the magic of childhood has to be removed. You never know when a boy is a girl and a girl is a boy. They decided to have a pride night that is attendable by everyone, kid, adult, everyone at Disney. Like they'd always had sort of gay days in which people would show up if they were gay, and it was sort of informal. And now they're actually actively coordinating it. They have trigger warnings on nearly all their material, ranging from Aladdin, where apparently they're now claiming it's... They'll still make money off it. And this is the great hypocrisy of Disney. They're just garbage.
Oh, no.
The fact that Disney is hypocritical enough to put trigger warnings on Aladdin, saying it's racist, while simultaneously doing business in Zhejiang, China, with the Chinese government, which is simultaneously holding 1 million Uyghur Muslims in abject slavery, sterilizing many of them.
Do you mean that corporations are bad? Do you mean that they do bad things and they're cynical fucks who just want to make profit? Did you know that? I didn't know that. That's huge.
infinity flaming garbage bins for Disney, victimizing children to promote wokeness. What this is meant to show is the absolute tsunami wall-like sentiment among corporate America with regard to pushing left.
It's funny because I remember a very long time, one of the first ever Ben Shapiro videos I watched was a video of him talking about why you should be scared of Muslims. Do you remember that video? It was this, wasn't it? The myth of the tiny radical Muslim minority. And it's basically just him going through Pew Research polls and showing how Muslim majority countries actually have like very high levels of extremist opinion across all of them. Some of the questions are very like misleading, where it looks like they've all got really extreme opinions, but it's not really as clear cut. I think one of them is, there was a question about 9/11, and the way that the answers come out is it made it sound like 70, 80, or 90% of people in the Middle East think that 9/11 was deserved, right? But when you look at the way the polling works and actually just the way people think about with those questions, the way people tend to approach it in the Middle East, like the actual commonly held opinion in the Middle East is that America brought it on themselves by supporting Mujahideen and like by destabilizing Middle Eastern countries. But they don't actually say that, like, they wouldn't actually say that killing the civilians in the buildings was justified. That's a very rare opinion to hold in the Middle East. The people who hold that opinion tend to be more like white communists in America or whatever. But it's funny that because like that rationale that Ben uses for why you should be scared of Muslims and shit is actually like exactly the kind of propaganda that they use to justify the Uyghur camps in China. It's all to do with terrorism, extremism. Yeah. I don't think people realize that. I don't think people realize how much like other countries in the world that you'd think would be exempt from that are just not. Like the Russia in this first and second Chechen war was so much to do with, especially the second Chechen war, was when there were sporadic attacks happening against the Russian state. Putin, before any evidence had been gathered, would say it was Muslim radicals who did it, and that was a big part of what got him the public approval to destroy fucking Grozny. And also, not to mention, the way Ben Shapiro talks about fucking Palestinians is also fucking mental as well. He's a Nakba denier. He thinks that he thinks Palestinians call it the Nakba because they didn't like it that Israel became a state. I'm not joking. That's exactly what he said. Let me find it. There's also that famous tweet like Israelis like to build, Arabs like to bomb crap, whatever. He walked it back later and said, I didn't mean all Arabs, I just meant Palestinians. So let me see. Is it not going to show up in the... Okay. Why won't it... You! Oh, it's because it's in Vietnamese. Thanks.
And Brits restrict between the leader of Israel at this time is David. The surrounding Arab countries declare war. Israel is surrounded on every side by hostile states. Every single side, right? So you got Lebanon up north, you got Syria here, you got...
Oh, 48, here we go.
Themselves, May 14th, 1948, the British Mandate officially ends. Israel declares its independence, right? This is Yom HaAtzmaut, or as the Arabs like to call it, the Nakba, right? They call it a disaster that Israel was established. The leader of Israel at this time is David Ben-Gurion.
That's why they call it a... Nakba means... Yeah, that's why they call it a disaster or a catastrophe, whatever Nakba means. Because Israel was established? Is that why? Not because 750,000 people were ethnically cleansed from their homes? 30, at least, villages were massacred? That they put typhoid in the wells to poison people's water and shit? Ben. So, I don't know, but it's only a problem when China does it, apparently. Well done, Ben.
And that is astonishing. But if you push back where you see 10 flaming garbage bins, you will start to see corporations reacting and backing off. And that's what needs to happen. Folks, you know, for all of the companies that are out there who hate your guts and are pushing woke propaganda, there are a lot of companies that actually aren't. You know, we founded a couple of them, like Jeremy's Chocolates or Jeremy's Razors, but it's not just companies we founded. There are great companies that sponsor shows like this one. Good Ranchers, Pure Talk, Unimed, Hallam.
Okay. What do you think of Destiny's take that Daily Wire is center right? By American standards, I have no idea. I don't know America well enough. Like, are they center right by American standards? It depends, because maybe by alt media standards they probably are. By alternative media, yeah, that's the problem, right? Um, as for the whole of America, I'd probably say no. I think there needs to be a middle ground between center right, far right, and just right. I think Daily Wire would be right. They're not far right. Far right people don't like the Daily Wire. They don't like them at all. I'd say they were right, not center right. When I think center right, I think of it's hard to say because a lot of those I feel like those old school neoconservative small government big corporations kind of are cool kind of wing of Republicans are gone now, like the Mitt Romneys of the world and all that. That's who I would usually assume with associate with center right. But they're kind of gone now though, aren't they? How much are there still a lot of Republican legislators who are like that, like the Mitt Romney kind of center right thing? When I think center right, I think someone who says, you know, all that gay trans stuff, you know, it's whatever, don't mind, just don't do it in front of, just not in front of my child. That's what I think of center right. But I don't know. I feel like in America, um, the Overton window in actual American politics is a lot more right wing than what we see online. McCain, yeah, that's why I think when I think center right, I think McCain, Jeb Bush, yeah. Hmm. Let me think. The problem is, is that people have this stupid impression of Overton windows, and if you are an online leftist, your Overton window is fucked, right? If you're an online leftist, because I know this is where I'm just imagining this is where the dispute comes in, right? If you're an online leftist, um, this is the center, okay? Um, hmm. And like AOC is like here. Biden's probably around here. Bernie's probably more like here, right? And then this is, sorry, that's not a D, is it? There we go. Bye. Fuck off. All right, hang on. Let's make a better D then, just to keep maladjusted happy. But then I think at the end over here is like, and then this is, I guess, your fucking communists, right? That famously relevant group in American politics. Maybe this is too generous now, isn't it? Because I'm sure I've heard people say that AOC sold out, right? So she might have to move, actually. She might have to go over here now, right? And Biden, well, he's apparently enabling the trans genocide. We just saw that on Twitter from poly people. So I don't know. People's Overton windows are fucked. But I think the real world is a bit more like trying to get a bit more accurate representation. Let's say your center here, I would say maybe like your center rights, you've probably got McCain. You got Jeb. Whatever the fuck. Here would be Daily Wire. Somewhere in between Daily Wire and the far right, you would have, I guess, maybe like Trump. Let's be more simple. Let's put Daily Wire here. And at the end, this is probably where you would see more like your Crowders. Trump, etc. Right? That's kind of what I would see there. And then here, I guess maybe like Obama. Biden seems to be the left of, like a little bit left of Obama. Biden. AOC. Bernie. That's more like American politics, right? Or even Warren, because the problem is you wonder, oh, but compared to socialism and communism and blah, blah, blah. Do you know where the communists are and the socialists in the United States? Do you know where they are? I'll show you where they are on this understanding of the Overton window, okay? They're somewhere down here, okay? Online with their fucking brain leaking out of their ears. That's bits of communist brain just dripping. That's them, okay? No one cares. No one gives a fuck about your grand plans to institute the People's Republic of Walmart to the United States. Like, Bernie is so Bernie's like Medicare for All plan was like more left wing than anywhere in fucking Europe, right? It wasn't because with Bernie's Medicare for All plan, didn't he want to like make sure that there was no private options, that you couldn't get private insurance? And you want to like abolish it completely? I think in the UK you can get private insurance, I think. I know in like France, Germany and shit like that. Yeah, it was more radical than the NHS. Yeah. What else was like his co-op plan? I think Jeremy Corbyn's plan for when it came to co-ops was that he wanted to have like a right of first refusal for workers if a company had to either go into administration or wanted to go public or had like some kind of problem where they needed some kind of like government bailout money, right? So it was like there wasn't really like a set goal for what would happen. With Bernie, I think he wanted to actually go into existing corporations and and hand 20% of existing corporations over to workers, which is very far, which is much further than what the right of first refusal is. This idea that Bernie would be right wing in Europe is actually fucking brain damage. Like, I don't think you understand. Like, I know it's like, I know why they do this. I know why people like the fucking like the online socialists and communists like to fucking push everyone. They like to just take this and just bring it over fucking here because it's the only way they can remain relevant. You know what's really funny is that the problem with doing this is that right wingers try to do the same thing. I bet I was on that panel actually with the far right guys like Big Papa Fascist and fucking Rob Noor and shit like that, and they were saying like they would say right wing is like here, right? The center is like here, because this isn't even to mention, you know, the other extremely politically relevant people, actually more relevant than the fucking communists and shit, would be like yeah, but this isn't even to mention your AF, America First, Fuentes and shit. And then there are the people who don't even like AF, like the Nazis, Daily Stormer. But they're not there either. They're also down here rolling around in shit with the online. Yeah, so that's... Does that answer your question? That's the this is my loner box diagram of the the Overton window. Okay, well done. Good. Overton box. Shut up.